Switch Station 32 back for another video. If you're a subscriber, welcome back. If you're new to the channel, if you leave a like and a subscribe, it really helps the channel grow. And let's get into this. We're going to start right off with the state of play that Sony just did. It wasn't the best state of play of all time because a lot of games that we already knew about, there wasn't a lot of new content, and some people are upset about that, but we did get some good stuff and we did get some good information. I can see why people will be let down though. A lot of people wanted to see a trailer for God of War, Ragnarok, but I kind of figured that wouldn't be here because I kind of think that that's going to be the big summer event for Sony. Whatever they do, they're probably not going to do E3, but whatever they do in replacement of that is probably when we're going to see God of War. Like everyone, I think, thought we were going to get a trailer for Horizon Zero Dawn, and we didn't get a trailer for Horizon Zero Dawn. We didn't get a release date, not a collector's edition or any of that. So I can understand why people were upset about it, but saying that, there was a lot of good stuff in it, and let's go over. I had fun watching it. It started off with Crash Bandicoot 4. It's about time, and we already know about this game. We've already seen it lots of times. It's on the PS4. It's coming to the Switch. We've seen a lot of this game. Some people already played this game, but they announced that we're going to get Crash Bandicoot in 4K, 60 frames a second on PS5, and that game's going to look amazing. It's going to look really good. I'll probably pick it up on PS5. I haven't picked it up yet, but I'll probably grab the PS5 edition of it. It's also going to have 3D audio and adaptive triggers and everything, all that good stuff for when you're playing it. So it is going to have more than just 4K 60. It's going to have the adaptive triggers and the 3D audio and stuff. So if you already played it, it's probably not going to be worth playing it over again, unless you're a huge Crash Bandicoot fan. But if you are looking to pick it up, I'd probably wait and get the PS5 version and just play that. And then it went into Returnal. This is probably my most anticipated game of a game that we have a release date for, besides Ratchet and Clank, Rift Apart, and they showed gameplay of it. The gameplay looks really good in Returnal. I'm really excited to play Returnal. They showed how the world changes every time you die. The bad guys are in different places, and the world's a little bit different, so that's really cool because every time you die you can't memorize this level because they're not going to be in the same place, and that makes it pretty unique. I kind of like that a lot. They went over her personal nightmare, and that looks really cool because the story for it looks really unique. I really like the story, how it goes into, it's almost like a really dark Resident Evil style story element to it, and I really like that. I'm really hoping the story lives up to the gameplay because the gameplay I think the gameplay is going to be amazing, but if it has a really good story to match the gameplay, that game is going to be really good. And that's coming out April 30th. And they announced Knockout City. We've seen this. Nintendo just announced it in their Direct. It's like a dodgeball multiplayer game. It looks fun. It looks like it could be fun. It's not going to be for everybody, and it's not free either. You got to pay for this game, but it does look unique. It does look fun. We'll have to wait and see on this one, but they announced that it is going to have a free beta, but you have to pre-order it, so you can play it early if you pre-order it. And then they announced Sci-Fu. Now, Sci-Fu is a ninja karate game and an action-based game, and it looked alright. It looked like it could be really fun. We'll have to wait and see more gameplay of it. It's cartoony looking and almost... They didn't say exactly what happens, but it almost looked like if you die, you come back a little bit older or something like that. And it looked really interesting. I'm definitely going to look more into this game. I'm not sold on it yet, but I'm going to look more into it because it does look like it could be fun, but we'll have to wait and see. That's coming out later this year. And then they announced another indie game, Solar Ash. This game is not going to be for everybody. It looks fun for people that are into that type of game. You're gliding on a path. It looks like you don't come off the path, I don't think, and it's an action base. They call it a platformer. To me, it's not really a platformer, but it's an action-based game. You're doing combos and stuff while you're gliding, and you're fighting bosses on your trail while you're gliding through it, and you're fighting sentinels as bosses. And it looked interesting, but for sure, it's not going to be for everybody. Some people like it. but there's going to be a lot more people pass on it. And then they announced a horror game. And I think this let people down too by the way they said it, because they're like, oh, if you're into horror and everybody's waiting for Silent Hill, that's what everybody wants to hear about is Silent Hill. And they announced Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach. And it looked good. It looked like it had nice, bright, vibrant colors. The story looks twisted and all this. And it looks half decent, but at the same time, everybody wants Silent Hill, and they didn't announce Silent Hill, and I think people are disappointed about that too, where they teased a horror game and it was Five Nights at Freddy's. And then another game that we already know about, Oddworld Soulstorm. And we already know this. It's coming out on everything. It's coming out on PS4, PS5. We've seen multiple trailers for this. Everybody that's sold on this game, I think, is already sold on this game. I mean, if you're into it and you really like it, I think this could have been just a trailer, separate from a state of play, but they went into it, and it looks like a good game. I'm probably going to pick it up when it comes. And then the game I'm excited for, I was hoping it was coming out sooner, but Keanu Bridge of Spirits. Now this game looks amazing. It is an indie title, but the world looks so good. The world looks amazing. I'm really excited to go through that adventure. The characters look good. It looks really good. I love the cartoon style looking of it. I love an adventure game, and it looks like an awesome adventure game. You're going to have magic. They went over all the fighting and how you're going to fight in the game, and the fighting looks really cool, and how you're going to use your stick and your magic and all that different stuff. And I'm sold on that game for sure. It was originally, a lot of people thought it was coming out in March, but it's coming out August 27th, and I'm picking that up day one for sure. I'm really excited to play that game. I was excited ever since I seen it. The trailer for that actually sold me even more, because they went over it a lot more and a lot more detail and showed a lot more gameplay in the world and stuff, and the world looks awesome. I can't wait to play it. And then another game we've seen a lot of, Deathloop. And Deathloop looks fun, but we've seen so much of Deathloop. I don't think the state of play, like, people ain't gonna get hyped for the state of play just for Deathloop, but it does look good. It might be the last Bethesda game coming to Sony. We don't know for sure, but I think people are hoping for more than just Deathloop and like trailers that we already know about. And then something I was really excited for, this kind of got leaked earlier, a couple of weeks ago, that this was happening, so it kind of took, I think that kind of took away from it a little bit, from people's excitement. I think if that didn't get leaked a couple of weeks ago, that people would have been really excited for this, but I'm really excited for it anyway, because it leaked, but you never know if it's true until you find out for sure. And that is Final Fantasy VII is getting an updated version for the PS5. And if anybody played Final Fantasy VII, you know the characters were amazing looking. The fighting was amazing looking, but the backgrounds were a little bit blurry. And we're getting a 4K 60 frames. We're getting a graphics mode, and the background is going to look way better, because the background is going to be rendered at 4K. It's not going to be blurry anymore, and I'm definitely going to play through this again. I'm really excited. I missed out on the Final Fantasy VII Collector's Edition because it's a little too much. I'm hoping that they announce the PS5 Collector's Edition. I'm going to try to get that if they do. And another thing they announced was a new DLC chapter with Euphia. And Cloud's, you're not going to play as Cloud. She's going to be the main character, and she's a materia hunter. And they're adding in a lot of stuff from Final Fantasy. All the different spin-off games, all the movies that had anything to do with Final Fantasy VII. They're bringing it all into this game. And by the time the next game comes out, and the game after that, because it's probably going to be a trilogy, all of the world is going to be linked together. They're going to bring everything that had anything to do with Final Fantasy into this world, and that really excites me. I'm really excited for that. I love that idea, and I can see like purists why they wouldn't be, but I don't want to just play the game the exact same as what it was. I want more lore to come in. I want the game to get bigger. I want it to expand. I think that would be awesome, but I'm really looking forward to this. I can't wait to get this. It's a day one purchase for me. And they announced if you have the game on PS4, you get the PS5 upgrade for free. You still have to buy the DLC, but you get the upgraded to PS5 version for free. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm probably going to get the disc just because I'm a huge PS5 fan and I just want it for my collection. I'm really excited for this. I can't wait. And that was the end of the state of play. And for me, it was sold. That saved it for me. But I'm a huge Final Fantasy fan, and I love Final Fantasy VII, and I just wanted more information and more DLC and anything I can get. So I ain't gonna wait 3 or 4 years to play the next one because I just want more now and I don't want to wait. So I'm really excited for it, but I can understand anybody that's waiting for God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn, that kind of stuff. Maybe a Nathan Drake trailer or something like that. I think that it's all coming in 2022. I think the coronavirus put everything back. I think 2021 is just going to be, we're going to have good games, but you're not going to have big sizzle rules, E3 type things until maybe June. And then they'll be more prepared. They'll know when the dates are. They'll be ready to show you when these are coming out because they don't want to announce them too early and then make you have to delay it another 6 months up to a year. They only want to, when they delay it, they only want to be able to delay it maybe 3 months. But they don't want to have to tell you a date and then delay it another 6 to 8, maybe even a year. So that's why they're not having all these, because they don't know how far these are going to get pushed back. So they're waiting. And I think the June event is going to be a huge event. I'm really excited for that. That's when we're going to find out when we're getting Horizon Zero Dawn, I think. And that's when we're going to get the trailer for God of War. And I'm really excited. And more Final Fantasy VII news. This happened right after the State of Play. I think they should have put this in the State of Play, but before. But the State of Play is for PlayStation. It's not for Android. So I can understand why it wasn't in the State of Play, but it would have been cool if it was. But they announced Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis. And this is Final Fantasy VII, the original game, but remade with up-to-date graphics. And it's going to be on Android, and it's going to be on iOS. This game looks really cool, and I can see a Switch port of this coming, because I don't think Final Fantasy VII will be able to run on the Switch, but I can see this game getting ported to the Switch eventually. So, and it looked really cool. It was anime style, cartoony looking. I really like the graphics of it for an Android. I'll probably pick it up and check it out. And it's featuring the entire compilation of Final Fantasy VII. It's got Abbott Calendar in it, Bio Crisis, Crisis Core. I think that's really cool that they're putting all this into a collection. And it just shows you what they're trying to do with Final Fantasy VII. They're trying to take all the spin-off games and put them all together in a big collection, and that's really cool. Sticking with other Sony news, since we did the State of Play, might as well put this on too. They announced this week on Twitter, PSVR2 is coming. Not to worry, it's not coming out in 2021, but I can see this coming out holiday 2022, because they weren't going to put it out the first holiday of the PS5 because it's going to be a big year for them. If you get it out in 2022, PS5 will already be out for 2 years. I can see that coming out in 2022, 2023 at the latest, because they're going to want it out as long as they can with the PS5. They don't want it out 3 years into the PS5's life and then the PSVR2 only have 3 to 4 years with the PS5 before another PS6 comes in. And one thing I was hoping for, we didn't get, but we did get improvement on, is going to have a single cord. I was hoping it was going to be wireless. That would have been awesome, because all the wires, everyone knows, the headset's a pain in the butt to hook up, and have all the wires, and they get tangled, they're a big mess, and it's a pain in the butt. But one single cord, that sounds really good to me. That's a lot better than what we got now, so I think that's going to be really good. You're going to get higher frame rates, and that will really help with motion sickness and the smoothness of the game. One thing that I really like, because I do not like the Move controllers. For whatever reason, my camera doesn't read them real well. It's either too high or too low, and it's a pain to get my camera set up every time. I can't just sit down and play. I got to adjust the camera every single time for the Move controllers, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and that kind of puts me off of playing it, because I want to play the game, but I don't want to spend 20 minutes setting it up. So we're getting a new VR controller, and I'm really excited for that because all my favorite VR games are all ones you play with the controller, with the DualShock. So I'm really excited to get something. Maybe we'll get something like the Oculus controller. Maybe we'll get something even better than that. That'd be awesome. Hopefully it has sticks. And yeah, that really sells the VR for me to have a controller. I really like that. And then they announced they're working on new games. The new Hitman game, you have to have the PS4 version of that to play the VR. I think the reason why the PS5 version don't have that, you're not going to be able to play the PS5 psvr2 games on the old headset. So I think that they don't want some PS5 games to work on the old headset and some of them not to work. Why the PS5 games not coming with the VR? Only the PS4 versions of the game are. I'm pretty sure that they just don't want some of the PS5 games to work on the old headset and some of them not to. They want just the PS5 games to work on the new headset so people don't get confused by it. So they don't go buy a PS5 version of the game and then they get home and they're like, oh, well, this don't work, but some of them do. Why is that? Some people don't look all this stuff up. They just buy it and try it and it don't work and then they're mad, right? So I'm pretty sure that's why, but I'm excited for the new headset. I think it's going to be awesome. It's going to be way better than what we have now. I think you're just going to be able to put it on and start playing, and that's what I'm hoping for. No adjusting, no messing around, just put the headset on and start playing. And then in other news, PS Plus lineup for March, and the PS Plus lineup for March is awesome. Remnant from Ashes. That game's like a 3-person multiplayer game. Farpoint. Final Fantasy VII Remake, the PS4 version. Now that's awesome. That's an awesome lineup. A lot of people want to play Final Fantasy VII, but they can't. And now you're getting it for free. Everybody's going to have access to that game, and that's really cool. That's a really good way. They should have had that in the State of Play too. That would have been awesome to end it with. Oh yeah, this game's coming for free with PS Plus in March. So that would have got everybody really excited. But yeah, that's an awesome lineup. You get a VR game, you get a PS5 game, you get one of the best games on the PS4. And there is one catch though. Final Fantasy VII Remake, if you get it on PS Plus, doesn't have the free upgrade path to the PS5 version. So if you get it, you have to, if you want the PS5 version, you have to buy it. But if you play the PS4 version, you don't need to replay it again. Anyway, but that's kind of silly that they're not you're not getting a free upgrade. If you get it on PS Plus, you have to buy it. But at the same time, you're still getting it for free. It's still an awesome lineup. And I think this is one of the best months. The last couple of months in a row has been really good for PS Plus. Especially if you're a PS5 owner, you're getting 3 games every month. This month we're getting 4. That's really good. I like this State of Play, but I'm a huge Final Fantasy fan. The games are coming. They're already announced. We just got to wait for release dates at this point. It's not like they're not coming. They are coming. We know about them. We already seen trailers. All we got to do is wait, find out. God of War, I think, is not coming out 2021 like they said. That's going to be 2022. I think new Horizon Zero Dawn is going to be November. And if it is November and not September or something like that, or October, you know that God of War is not coming out, because you're not having God of War and Horizon Zero Dawn come out in the same month, because they don't want them competing with each other. I'm really looking forward to the Final Fantasy VII upgrade and the DLC and all that stuff. That's really exciting for me. So that'll be Switch Station 32, back for another video. If you liked it, leave a like and a subscribe, share the video. It really helps the channel grow. And leave comments on what you thought of the State of Play. I really like to read your comments and interact with you guys. And that'll be it for another video.